everyone, and welcome to Metagame Mastery, where it's not just about what the card does, but how it impacts the game. Guilds of Ravnica preview season is upon us, and we are already getting instant staples for both Standard and Commander. Not to mention, we're getting a much clearer picture as to what the limited game will look like. If you enjoy this content, click that subscribe button so you get access to all our latest videos. And if you're looking to support the channel and you're super stoked about Guilds of Ravnica, check out our Amazon affiliate link in the description below where you can pre-order your booster box. Without further ado, big time, go time. Let's go. Here he is, the new niv-mizzit, and he is spectacular. He's 6 CMC, blue, 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 red, 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 for a 5/5 legendary dragon wizard. He can't be countered. He has flying, and the all too familiar combo trigger. Whenever you draw a card, he deals 1 damage to any target. And then lastly, the whole new trigger. Whenever any player casts an instant or sorcery spell, you draw a card. Wow, there's a lot to unpack here. This is a very, very powerful card for a much beloved character. First and foremost, same CMC with heavier color weight. I'm going to touch back on that in a second. Now, the second time we saw him as niv-mizzit Draco Genius, he grew to a 5/5. He's still a 5/5 here. He gains a whole new ability where he can't be countered, ensuring that he's going to hit the board. And then, most importantly, he has the ability of niv-mizzit Firemind to just combo off with Curiosity and any number of other similar effects. Lastly, he gets a new triggered ability, allowing him to combo off without having to wait until your next turn to start that infinite loop, which is extremely, extremely powerful. So, is this just better than niv-mizzit the Firemind? Mostly, yes. There is one obvious drawback, and that's the color weight. You can't ramp into this with, say, a Sol Ring or Mind Stone or any number of mana rocks that produce generic colorless mana. So if you're looking to pop off the combo quickly, this is actually a little bit worse, and you'd want to run it in your 99 instead of being your commander. That said, if you're looking to pop off the combo consistently, if your meta is all about that control, then you might want to swap this out as your new commander with that beautiful new legendary frame. This thing's really powerful. Either way, you're going to want to run both in your niv-mizzit deck. I can't wait to get my hands on this card. Keep an eye on the foil multiplier for this one. And here we have a preview card brought to us by Jumbo Commander. It's Bounty Agent. 2 CMC, 1 colorless, 1 white for a 2/2 human soldier with vigilance. You can tap it, sack it, destroy target legendary artifact, creature, or enchantment. Wow, that's really solid. We're looking at sort of a delayed removal spell that can hit every single commander. That's really good in EDH. I don't think it's going to make an impact in Standard. Obviously, Modern or the other formats, it's not even going to be a blip on the radar. It might be good in Limited, though, depending on how many legendary artifacts, legendary enchantments, and legendary creatures. Also, the fact that it makes a reference to legendary enchantments very heavily implies that we will be seeing some over the course of the preview season this week. So that's interesting. What I love about this card most of all, though, is how disgustingly abusable this is in Commander. Not only do you have a removal spell for at least one card that everyone has access to, but you can just keep bringing it back. The fact that it's on legs means that you can just keep bringing it back with cards like Sun Titan, Amiria Angel, um, Amiria the Land, or even cards like Devoted Cropmate get better because of this card. This is going to be an absolute house. Here we have a preview brought to us by Commander's Brew. Chromatic Lantern is getting a much welcome reprint here. It's 3 colorless mana for an artifact. Lands you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, and it itself taps to add 1 mana of any color. I love this card. I run it in dozens of decks. Anything that's 3 colors or more, this is an instant staple. It's essentially the ultimate mana fixing on a mana rock that you can put in any deck. Beautiful. And we're going to change gears here just a little bit, talk about the limited game. Sunhome Stalwart is 2 CMC, 1 colorless, and a white for a 2/2 human soldier with first strike and mentor. So I really like this card. He's a 2/2 for 2 on curve that will win against other bears in combat. That alone is really solid. But you add Mentor in there. So if you have a 1-drop, if you have a small token on the battlefield, you're getting increased value by adding those +1/+1 counters every time it attacks. This is really solid and possibly my favorite Mentor card previewed to date. Fresh-Faced Recruit is 2 CMC, 1 colorless, and a Boros, which is either a red or a white. For a 2/1 human soldier, as long as it's your turn, he has first strike. So this feels, from a flavor perspective, like a Boros card. It's 2/1 for 2 that incentivizes you to push the damage on your turn. That said, he's nothing special. I'd run him as curve filler, not much else. Whisper Agent is 3 CMC, 1 colorless, and 2 Dimir. That's 2 mana that can either be blue or black. For a 3/2 human rogue with flash. When it enters the battlefield, surveil 1. So I'm not a big fan of 3/2s for 3. Even with Flash, I don't feel like Flash does enough because that 2 toughness makes it so that they routinely trade down in combat. You wind up getting mana disadvantage by playing this. Now this does have the added benefit of being able to surveil, getting you some additional card quality, some virtual card advantage. But I just don't see that as being good enough. Personally, I will not be running this card. Dimir Informant is 3 CMC, 2 colorless and a blue for a 1/4 human rogue. When it enters the battlefield, surveil 2. Okay, so this is kind of a worse Omen Speaker, but it gives you that sort of super scry where you can populate your graveyard. I like this. I like this better than the previous card. I know you can't use it as a removal spell, but it has survivability. It bogs down the board. It's something I can count on, and I'm getting more flexibility with my virtual card advantage with this card for the same CMC. So for those reasons, I like this better. Dream Eater is 6 CMC, 4 colorless blue for a 4/3 Nightmare Sphinx with flash and flying. When it enters the battlefield, surveil 4 and return target non-land permanent and opponent controls to its owner's hand. Okay, so this is a mythic rare and it's given that status not because it's going to break standard. I wouldn't even run this in my Sphinx Tribal Commander deck. What I would do is I would first pick this all day, every day in limited. This thing does so much work. We're talking about an evasive attacker. You can flash into play to get a surprise block in. He gives you huge card quality control with Surveil 4, and he's a removal spell on top of that. That's 4 major effects on one card. This thing's going to win you games in draft and sealed. Goblin Electromancer is being reprinted. He's a blue and a red for a 2/2 Goblin Wizard. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. And this is just a perfect reprint for this set. It plays so well with Jumpstart, and it's going to be an instant staple in the standard blue-red wizard decks. This thing's awesome. Hypothesizal is 5 CMC, 3 colorless, blue-red for an instant, draw 2 cards. You may discard a non-land card. When you do, it deals 4 damage to target creature. So this is not Prophetic Bolt. It only targets creatures, and you draw 2 cards. You could populate your graveyard with a Jumpstart card by discarding it and getting a removal spell out of it. If you do this right, you're getting a lot of effects off of 1 card. I think it'll be pretty darn good in limited, but outside of it, that environment, it's just worthless. Samala Woodshaper is 4 CMC, 2 colorless, green, white for a 2/1 Elf Druid. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature or enchantment card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So playing a 2/1 for 4 does not feel good, even if it does potentially replace itself. I'm not a huge fan of this card for that reason in limited, and obviously it's not going to see any significant constructed play. What I do want to point out is, once again, we're talking about enchantments in Selesnya colors. I really feel like there's going to be some Enchantress influence going forward. Keep an eye on preview cards this week to find out. Wary Okampi is 3 CMC, 2 colorless, and a green for a 3/2 Antelope with Vigilance. So I mentioned before, I'm not a fan of 3/2s for 3. They trade down, you wind up with a mana disadvantage. It's a huge tempo break. Putting Vigilance on it doesn't make it better. And we're seeing more split cards like Response and Resurgence. Response is actually really good. It's Boros, which is either any combination of red and white. For an instant, it deals 5 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. This is great removal in limited. Just 2 mana for 5 damage. Yes, that has to be attacking, but or blocking. It has to be in combat. But realistically, that's what you see almost all the time in limited. So this is very powerful, great value. And then if you happen to be in Boros, if you're not running this in for mono red, if you're not running this for mono white, but you are in Boros, you get Resurgence, which is 5 CMC, 3 colorless, red, white for sorcery. Creatures you control gain first strike and vigilance until end of turn. After this main phase, there's an additional combat phase followed by an additional main phase. This is really good, allowing you to get sort of a Anthem, Aurelia effect for your entire board that very easily will finish games. It's a great tempo swing, and I love that it's attached to a really well-rounded removal spell. A+ card for limited. Here we have Find and Finality. find is 2 Golgari, which is any combination of black or green for a sorcery. Return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. So it's a potentially situational card advantage. Plays really well with Undergrowth, Surveil, or just even having creatures that naturally go to your graveyard via combat. But if you happen to be in Golgari specifically, you have access to Finality, which is 6 CMC, 4 colorless, black, and a green for a sorcery. You may put 2+1/+1 counters on a creature you control, then all creatures get -4/-4 until end of turn. I love that. I love how you're effectively setting up what could be a one-sided board wipe. Very powerful effect, very cool card. And here is the new jewel of Standard, Assassin's Trophy, brought to us by Channel Fireball. It's black and a green for an instant, destroy target permanent an opponent controls. Its controller may search their library for a basic land card, put it into the battlefield, and then shuffle their library. So it's like if Abrupt Decay and Path to Exile had a baby, we'd get Assassin's Trophy. Now, I personally believe that both Abrupt Decay and Path to Exile are better in Modern than Assassin's Trophy. Assassin's Trophy does get better in longer games, obviously. So depending on your meta, if you're going to continuously be going beyond those turn 4, 5, 6 plays, that's fine. I do like that it can target lands like Tron lands, so it may be a sideboard card in Modern, but it's going to be an absolute house in Standard. This is premium removal from this point forward. That's it for today, but check back throughout the week because we will be covering all the preview cards as they are released. If you enjoy our content, click that subscribe button so you get access to all our latest videos. And if you're super stoked about Guilds of Ravnica, looking to pre-order a box, check out our Amazon affiliate link in the description below. This has been Metagame Mastery. Peace!